Hi, welcome back to the channel. And today I wanted to cover EV preparedness for wintertime. What's special about an EV versus a regular ICE vehicle that you can prepare for bad weather conditions or being stranded on the road due to bad weather conditions or other causes. So today we're going to start off with something I ran across, which I think was pretty helpful with regards to insulating the windows for heat retention. So I had some packing material that was left over from receiving some shipments, and I had 4 or 5 sheets of this material, and I thought, well, maybe I could use this as a window insulator for bad weather conditions, or something to store in the trunk as precaution if for some reason you get stuck in bad weather conditions and you want to be able to keep the interior of the car warm. So I'm going to show what this looks like after I cut it back down. So cutting the first pieces took a lot of trial and error, so they would fit to the point where they snap in place. But once I had one half done, the other half is pretty straightforward, just tracing out and copying that pattern. So this is all of the pieces to cover all of the windows, so it's actually quite a big amount of surface area. The good thing is that even though these are fairly thick, they're all flat pieces, so you can put them all together in one stack and fold them up, and it makes a fairly small piece. This is what it looks like. This is the rear window when it's snapped in place. And here's from the outside. So it's pretty good tight fit for the most part. Okay, so we're inside with the heater on and the thermal window shields in place, made out of the foam that I highlighted earlier. And you see that it actually does pretty well as far as sealing it up. I just pull this down real quickly so you can see it's pretty thick foam insulation, so that should be way warmer than exposed glass, and it is a little bit of a privacy barrier as well. I'll turn around here and look in the back, so you can see they're still getting light in through the areas what's blocked, so it's not completely dark in here. So that should extend the warmth in the vehicle quite a bit longer for a certain amount of power being used, since we're stopping a lot of the heat loss. And the carbon fiber tub itself is relatively decent insulating compared to a regular metal body car, so it should work pretty well. So to test it out, I got out my old lab thermal temperature measurement software and started graphing it out. The first test I had actually 2 people in the car in the steam deck, and went through the preconditioning cycle. So this is what it looked like with the data. It actually, during preconditioning, it overshot. The car was already at 20 degrees. It shot way up and then slowly came back down until the end of preconditioning. The outside temperature was about 15 degrees C, or a little under 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can see the temperature actually rose over time. I went back and redid the test the next day, and this time just one person in the car. And you can see that I didn't use preconditioning, I just left it on, and it went from up to 22 degrees C. And surprisingly, it actually held there for, the whole test was 100 minutes, so quite a long period of time before it dropped out. And then finally, this is some data from the earlier camping test with preconditioning, and you can see that without the coverings on the window, the typical temperature lost over 100 minutes was quite a bit, actually, several degrees, actually almost 5-6 degrees, so it's a lot. In conclusion, insulating the windows seems to greatly increase the heat retention of the cabin compared to the earlier preconditioning test. Looked like the temperature was flat with one person, actually was gaining it with 2. This is something I think is very useful for any emergency situation where you're stuck on the road in the snow and you need to conserve your battery power as much as possible and the heat in your cabin as much as possible. Or even in camping mode, where you might be able to stretch out the battery usage during preconditioning cycles much longer and keep the cabin comfortable. Anyway, that's what I have this time. This is part 1. We'll have part 2 and more coming with regards to winterizing of electric vehicles in the wintertime. Thanks for watching.